Hello, this is Snow City Tarot and welcome back to my channel. So today's topic for this pick a card reading is what was their first impression of you? So this reading is good for anybody that you're asking about, anyone at all. So you could ask about a job interviewer, an acquaintance, a crush, a friend, anyone at all. There are no restrictions. So for those of you who are my regulars, please feel free to pick your options. You know what to do. I'll see you later. For those of you that are new here, I want to give you a little introduction. My name is Liz. I am a diviner who provides psychic readings here on YouTube, as well as in my Etsy shop. You can check the description box for that. As a diviner, I use tarot and other tools to communicate with the divine using a language of symbols. While I can get psychic information without the tools, using them allows me to easily access my gifts on demand, and that I can channel the information in a way that is easier for me to organize and convey back to you. So what you are watching today is a group reading. What this is the most prominent energies of everyone who watches this video. It's all consolidated into one of these options you see before you. I cannot control whose energies are dominant in these readings, and I do not know who will pick what pile. So you will need to do your best to intuitively pick what option you're most drawn to. The ability I use to read the cards is the same abilities that you guys use to pick the options. So we're together, we're using our intuition and psychic abilities, because we all have them, to pick one of these options. So if you're new to these readings, though, there is a potential that you can pick wrong, especially if you haven't really flexed that intuitive muscle yet. So if you feel that the reading doesn't make sense to you, that's okay. You can feel free to just go back and pick another pile. Or if you feel like none of them resonate, that's okay too. Sometimes there's nothing in here for you, and that's okay as well. You don't want to be taking any old information. You want to make sure it's the stuff that's meant for you. So just keep that in mind when you're picking. So these readings really can't harm you or mislead you so long as you take the information you hear with a grain of salt. Meaning understand that there will be inaccuracies, and there's information that you may get in these readings that you won't really be able to confirm right now, but you could confirm later in the future. So with that out of the way, again, today's topic is going to be asking about the person on your mind. What was their first impression of you? So this can be like I said, a job interview, a friend, an acquaintance you just met. Maybe you met your birth mom for the first time or something like that. We can ask about that. So this is, good for pretty much all those situations. So I do have 4 options for you to pick from today. You can ask about more than one person, and you can pick more than one pile if you're called to it. And if you have this question later on in a few months or years from now, you can always come back to this reading and pick it up again and ask for somebody completely different. This is basically a timeless reading, meaning that it's good for any time frame that you're seeing it. So this is going to be option 1. This is option 2, option 3, and option 4. So if you'd like to participate and you want to try to pick here, you want to take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, and close your eyes if you have to get really centered. And you want to ask your guides, guardians, angels, ancestors, gods, whoever it is that you usually call upon for guidance. You want to ask them to help you identify which pile will be the most truthful for you. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and you can pick one of these options. And when you finally selected that, you can go to the description box, and then I'll have the options listed and what timestamp they're at. So you can just click and go right to the reading. So, so feel free to pause the video if you need to spend more time picking. And when you're finally ready, I will see you guys in your readings. Hi, group 1. This is for those of you that picked the Labradorite reading, or Labradorite stone. This is your reading. So I'm going to move this over here, and we're going to look at these cards, but I'm going to do them last because they're the overall view for what their overall impression was. So that's like the big grand finale there. But I'm going to kind of dissect the whole situation with you and the person that you're asking about. And then from there, I will take those afterwards. So I'm going to pull up my spread here because I like to have a nice channeled I like my information to be very organized. So, how did the person on group one's mind perceive their physical appearance when they saw them? How did they perceive group one's body language? How did they perceive the way that you spoke to them? How did they perceive what you had to say when you guys met? And what do they gather about you from their first impression of you? What information did they gather from you from this meeting? So let's take a look here. Okay. So what I'm seeing here, well, okay. So I hope this wasn't a job interview, but this person thought you guys had a very sort of like airy, sort of flowy bohemian sort of look to you as far as your physical appearance. You looked young as well to this person. So they could have been older than you. Even if you're say like in your 30s or 40s, this person could have still saw that you looked very young and very youthful and energetic. Overall, it just, you have a very youthful, bouncy, cheerful vibe about you. You guys may also look more fit from their perspective. And, fitness is kind of in the eye of the beholder, for a lot of people, because you might be thinking, man, I'm not fit. I only went to the gym I've only been going to the gym like two days out of the week for the last 3 months instead of my regular 5 or whatever. So from your perspective, you might be like, man, I'm really out of shape, but how can this person think this? Well, this person probably sees it from that perspective, is that you look like you might be very healthy and fit. Because the Fool is usually a wanderer, somebody who likes to walk and hike and is typically pretty active. So you kind of entered the room when they saw you. I feel like they really saw you as somebody who is pretty healthy, actually. So how did they perceive your body language, though? Well, we have the Emperor. So you guys, when you met this person or saw this person, they may have seen you in a way that might have been a little bit like, I'm not going to say hostile, because it's not hostile. It's like more like authoritative. So you could have had your arms crossed across your chest. Your legs could have been kind of stanced a little bit further apart. You could have been, standing and facing them directly too, because there's a very direct kind of aspect to the Emperor here. You did not look nervous. We can say that much. You didn't look nervous at all. So it's probably, we could say that your body language in this scenario with them might have been even a teensy bit intimidating, because the Emperor is a real powerful energy. So it's like, you may have this in general, when you walk into a room, maybe there is this kind of like intensity about you, but, they perceived your body language to be very authoritative and confident when they saw you. So how did they perceive the way that you speak? Well, we've got the 4 of Spades. So I think that they felt that you were choosing your words very, very carefully so as not to offend or, set off any kind of red flags, perhaps, in this situation. So while they didn't see any nervousness in your body, they may have seen just like a glimpse of uncertainty in what you had to say. So if this was a job interview, this could have been something where, you may have kind of had like a wavering voice just a little bit, or maybe you might have started off where you started speaking very quietly, but maybe towards the end of the interaction between you guys, it was much more like boom, like, you eventually kind of warmed up to them. So, how did they perceive what you had to say? We have the 3 of Pentacles. So if you were selling somebody on something, like what you can do for them or how you can help them, or you were consoling or counseling this person in some sort of way, I think that they believe you. They believe what you can do. They believe that you do have the ability, the authority, the knowledge to do the things that you may have said you were able to do. So even if this was a casual conversation, you could have been talking about what you do for a living, say, and they would be like, oh, well, I totally believe what they have to say. They seem to be very knowledgeable about it. So, yeah, so this person can definitely, based on what you said to them, they can see you as somebody that can help them in the future if they need it, perhaps, or if, like I said, if you're applying for a job, they really believe that you can offer them some kind of assistance or even solve a problem that they may not be able to solve on their own. So whatever you told these people, they believe you, they trust you on this, and they may even have an expectation to take you up on any offers or, you know, ask you for any guidance if they need it. So I'd say that's pretty good, actually. So what do they gather about you from your first impression with them? Well, this is the Knight of Swords. So, like I said, there's a little bit of intimidation there. I think, honestly, if you had a little bit of a waver in your voice, or you may have seemed like, sounded a little uncertain, I have a feeling that that was good. That actually worked out because it didn't make you too intense. It didn't make you too intimidating either. Because with this Knight of Swords, it can show that, you're ready to go and, start a fight. You're ready to go out there and fight for them, perhaps. You're somebody who will champion for them. They may see you as somebody who's very knowledgeable as well, and somebody who gets things done quickly. So I don't think that they don't think that you're stupid. They don't think that you're incapable. They don't think that you're, anything bad about you here. I think that they see you as somebody who's very serious about what they're doing, very serious about their beliefs, and you're willing to kind of be upfront and honest with them if you have to be, or if you need to be. So with this one, though, I feel like I think this really softened you in a really nice way. So I don't think you have to be worried that these people don't think that you're skilled or equipped to do whatever you say you can do, or they don't think that you're, offensive or scary or anything like this. This softened you because by having this little bit of uncertainty here, it actually makes you seem more human, even though the rest of you is kind of like superhuman. So let's take a look. What is there? Oh, cool. Liberator. Look at that. So this is their main opinion of you, their first impression. And it says, freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. It says liberator. Shadow attributes can say imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate, ignoring legitimate constraints. I don't think that this is you. The light attribute is totally you here. So with this, I think this is really great. This is also a liberator card too. So they may see you as somebody that can really follow, that can really, help them, liberate them from their own problems, perhaps. So you also have this little card here from my mini divination deck. If you want this, I have the link to this in my eBay shop. But it says Horde of Ghosts. You don't have to go it alone. Choose a quest buddy or 3. So yeah, they think that you're a team player. You're someone who has a lot of friends or who can make a lot of friends. You can get along with people really well. I think that these people have every faith in you to be a reliable and, helpful, good person, to have on their team or to be with them as a partnership or a friendship. This person has a lot of faith in you, and I think that they can truly rely on you too. So I think overall, if we want to summarize what impression did you make on them? Well, you did a damn good job, guys. Excellent. You've really impressed these people. And I think that they, if this is a job opportunity, they're probably gonna give you a call back. If this is an acquaintance, I think they're gonna continue to try to talk with you. If this was like a date, I think that they'll probably, if it's a date, if this was like a romantic thing, they could call you back. I think they want to get to know you better. I think that if that's the case, because just because there is this little bit of like, oh, that person's a little bit too powerful for me, too strong. Oh, I'm so scared. But I don't see this as a thing where they won't call you back either. This looks pretty good to me. So I want to thank you for watching. If you want to get a private reading with me, check out my Etsy shop. The link's in the description box below. I have readings starting at $10. And I want to thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe if you like my content. Let me know whether this made sense to you. I love that. Yeah, I'll move on to group 2. Hi, group 2. For this, so this is for you guys that picked this crystal cluster. I can't remember what this was. Ilka, if you're picking pile 2, please let me know what this one was called. I love this little crystal cluster. It's beautiful. But here I have your cards here, and this is actually going to be the overall energy. So I'm going to be taking cards before that. I'm going to move this over here. This will be kind of the big grand finale. Okay. So I'm going to dissect the situation a little bit because I like to organize my readings here. So let's take a look here. So how did the person on group 2's mind perceive their physical appearance? How did they perceive their physical appearance when they met? How did they perceive group 2's body language when they met? Please. Oops. How did they perceive their body language when they met? How did they perceive the way that group 2 spoke when they met? How did they see that? What was their opinion of how they spoke when they met? How did they perceive what you had to say? And what did they gather about you overall from their first impression? What's their first impression? What information did they gather from you in their first impression here? Okay, beautiful. Let's flip these over. Oh boy, this is so funny. This one was in the same exact position in the last one. So if you guys pick group 1, send me a message. Say, hi, I'm group 1 and 2. I'd love to see. So how did they see your perceived physical image? Like, how did they see you? Well, again, this can be a very bohemian look. You could have a very airy-fairy sort of look about you. You can wear maybe lighter weight clothing, maybe lighter colors. You might have something that's very flowy, that's like open to the, let air in possibly. It's very, I'm getting kind of like not a crepey sort of cottony fabric, like, oh man, like a patchwork sort of light cotton, type of thing. It might be some kind of vegan, you could be wearing some kind of vegan fabric or something. But that's the energy that I get with this. Again, your physical appearance can also be quite fit. This could be somebody who walks a lot, maybe somebody who likes to run or go outside. You could have a look to you that maybe you have been outside, perhaps, like, someone who likes to spend a lot of their time out there, though. So you could, for some of you, maybe you have darker skin or something like that. You may look, or you might have like a visible tan where you don't have tan elsewhere. So it may not just be like a skin tone thing. This could be that you spend a lot of time. And so like maybe somebody saw like a tan line or something on your skin. But overall, you seem very healthy, very fit, and very well put together. And your appearance, though, I would say is a little more casual, though. So how did they perceive your body language? Very steady, very straightforward. I think that they perceive you as very serious about what you're doing, but also not so serious that you're trying to like command them to do things, or you're not very pushy. This is a really patient energy, though. So you may not have been too like shifty or like, fiddly or anything like that. You might have been just like pleasantly having your hands crossed, or, sitting pleasantly with your legs crossed. Like you looked like you were in a good place, mentally and emotionally, and it wasn't coming out the exterior. So while you may have felt very nervous on the inside, this person didn't pick up on that at all. You looked pretty steady, honestly. And your patience, I feel like this person saw that you made eye contact probably, but not too much. It was like the good, perfect amount. They really felt like you were paying attention to them when you guys were having your interaction. So I'd say this is a pretty good start to this as well, these two. So how do they perceive the way you speak? Well, we've got the Seven of Pentacles. So they think that when you speak, you might be very considerate about what you have to say. You could be unsure, though. That's the thing about the Seven of Pentacles. It can show that you may not have a total sureness of what you're saying. You may not totally, you could come across like you don't even believe what you're saying. So if you were in a situation where you kind of had to kind of spit some platitudes, they may have noticed that. And they may have noticed that your heart wasn't totally in it. But I wouldn't say that this discounts you in any sort of way or makes it seem. They might just perceive you as someone who doesn't make really good small talk, So they could be wanting to talk about the weather, and you might be like, well, yeah, the sun's still in the sky like it was yesterday. Why are we talking about this? It could be something like that. So I don't think that, they found it totally easy to talk to you, though. That's the thing with this is because if you don't do well with small talk, they may have kind of felt like, oh, what do I say next? Ooh, I don't know. Is there something that this person's interested in? I don't know. I think, though, that you appeared to have a lot below the surface, though. They know that you've got a lot more on your mind than talking about, who's celebrity gossip or talking about, your friend's child, it's t-ball game, something like that. So that's kind of the thing here is that you really kind of a no bullshit kind of person, I think. And this person kind of was expecting bullshit. So they didn't get what they expected there. But when it comes to what you had to say, even though you seemed kind of like harsh, or not harsh, but like even though you seem kind of like ambivalent about what you were originally talking about or whatever you were saying, the stuff that you ended up saying and the information you were conveying to this person actually was pretty good. They liked this, actually, because this kind of shows that you agree with each other, that you see eye to eye, and that you both have the same thoughts about problem solving. And honestly, like when you guys spoke, they really did agree a lot with what you had to say. They also probably have similar interests. If you were sharing interests, this person probably enjoyed the conversation with you, because this talks about really good combinations and like getting along and synergy and, really integrating into one another. So like they learned a little bit about you, and then you learned a little bit about them. And I think that together, this really shows that you guys actually have really good chemistry when talking. So I would say that's an excellent start too. Now, lastly, we have here, so what did they gather about you from the first impressions so far? Well, we've got the Queen of Pentacles. This is a very practical, down-to-earth person. You may be kind of, like I said, no bullshit, but with this Queen, you're willing to take care of people. You're willing to nurture, take responsibility, grow. You do a lot of good work for people, and they can expect you to take things seriously. And I'm wondering if they'll expect you to take things seriously. That's one thing I'm getting about this, is they may see you perhaps as a serious person. If funny. Okay, so I got the blank card here as what they gather about you from your first impression. I'm going to take this perhaps as a sign that this person doesn't totally know yet. Now this card comes into the pack because if you wanted to add your own archetype to the deck, you could, but there are like only maybe 2 or 3 of them. But the fact that this came up, I really feel like they haven't formed a major opinion of you yet. However, they do have a certain vibe about you. I think that they probably do like you, but what's funny about this as well is because this is blank, this could probably indicate that this person is kind of reflecting themselves off of you as well. So this kind of says that their perception of you is whatever they perceive themselves to be too. So you might be a little bit of a reflecting type of person where people see you and they accidentally project onto you. I feel like that it might be what this is. So they like you because I can tell you this person likes you because they see themselves in you. So that's that's very important to note that you may be a pretty likable person actually, because people accidentally sort of like project whatever they want to see about you onto you. And usually that's, some aspect of themselves. So I can guarantee you that you made a good impression. Now it says, forest spirit, seek nature. It will in turn make you grow in the best ways. Isn't that neat though? Because we have this nurturing aspect of this Queen of Pentacles here. So there is something about you that they really think can nurture or grow things. And I think that that's a pretty good sign that they can rely on you. Especially if you've applied for a job and you're asking about that, these people can rely on you. They can also expect you to take a project and grow it and mature it and make it into something really great. You're a businessman or woman at heart, and I think that they believe you take whatever you do seriously. Meaning also, if it's a relationship, you take your relationships very seriously as well. You're not out to hurt people. In fact, you're one of those people you might be one of those people that like go to the campsite, basically call people campsite. You leave them better than when you found them. And I think that's how they're going to see you here. So if it's a job, you're going to leave this job better than when you found it. If it's a person, they feel like you're going to leave them better than when you found them. So this must have actually been a pretty impactful connection here, this meeting, because this person, it's kind of telling me that this could be that you may have kind of positively influenced them in just a short amount of time. So that's what I got. So thank you for watching group 2. If you'd like a private reading, you can check my description box. I have a link to my Etsy shop there. I have readings starting at $10. If you have any questions about how I do that, feel free to DM me, email me, whatever you like. I'm happy to talk. What else? If you like my content, please like, comment, and subscribe and share with other people so that you can continue to see more of my work and you can get more people to see my work. And if you notice, I'm almost at 8,000 subscribers. So if you want to give me a little bit of a helping hand there, you can hit that subscribe button. So thank you for watching. I'm going to move on to group 3. Hi, group 3. This is for those of you that have picked the green apatite stone. This is your reading. Gosh, this is such a beautiful color, isn't it? That's like my favorite color ever. So this is, these are going to be your final, basically the final cards here. This is the grand finale here. That's going to be the main question. And the rest here, I'm going to be dissecting to see how the entire interaction, the exchange went and what their perception of you was on like a bigger level. So how did they perceive your physical appearance, group 3, when you guys met? How did they perceive your physical appearance? I feel like I want to take this one here. How did they perceive your body language, group 3? How did they perceive your body language? How did they perceive the way that you speak? And how did they perceive what you had to say when you spoke? And what do they gather about you from your first impression? Okay. Or from their first impression. Let's see. So when they first saw you, their first impression of you is kind of stern, perhaps. Your physical appearance may look kind of intense because we have the Emperor here. Your physical appearance may be very no nonsense as well. You could have a very serious looking face. Your physical appearance is maybe even a little hard to approach in a way, because you could have such a very serious appearance. You could have a very stern face. You could be very like, I'm getting a image of shoulders. Something about the shoulders are either very like, I don't know how to describe this. Hang on. They're like kind of like, they're like hunched forward a little bit, but like not in like it's not like a slouching. It's maybe like a old, I don't know, like old age, you may move forward a little bit. If not, you may have like, this might be just for a few people, but I'm getting like a real strong presence in the shoulders of just kind of like slouching forward a little, hunched forward, but like not in a way where you look lazy, if that makes any sense. Nothing about you looks lazy, group 3. Nothing about you looks lazy. Nothing about you looks like you are not taking things seriously. You have a very serious appearance. As for how your body language is, for someone who's kind of so, kind of rigid looking and maybe very serious looking, your body language is quite fast. You may speak with your hands like this. You may speak with your hands. You may speak very, not speak, but you use your hands to emote in a way. I think that you're very quick and light on your toes as well. I think that they see that you move and think and walk very fast. I don't see this as someone who is shy about how they are standing either. This is a very direct card. This is the Knight of Swords. So you are very direct. You look at people when you speak to them. You point your eyes at them. You point your toes at them. I'm not seeing you angled to the left or the right, like you're gonna. That could be another way to see this actually. For you, if you were shifted to the left or the right, you may have felt like you wanted to leave. And that would definitely be this indication here. If not, though, this does look like somebody who has a very direct view of the person in front of them. So you may look busy as well. That's another thing. You may look like you are ready to like spin around and leave at any moment when you met this person. So, which kind of explains with all this sort of stuff here, you must have been I feel like this could have taken place at work. For a lot of you, I'm seeing a hat. It's a crown, I know, but for some reason they're really drawing me to this hat. Are you guys a boss of some kind or some kind of supervisor or something? I feel like this crown is indicating you perhaps are, you look authoritative because you are authoritative. I'm just seeing though a focus on headgear or head equipment here. But let's move to here, how they perceived you by the way you speak. Again, very authoritative. And it's so funny because I'm feeling like that myself. When I'm speaking right now, I feel like I am taking on let's get shit done. Let's get the job done. We're going to do this thing. Got to do this thing, I feel like that when I read this, because I feel like even now, I feel like you may be thinking like, this isn't going fast enough. This reading's not going fast enough. I need this to go faster. Like I got to get this done because I have so many chores I have to do today. I need my guidance now. So that's the kind of the vibe that I'm getting from this reading. It's just very authoritative, very, forceful is the way I want to say it. So the way you speak may be very terse. It's considerate, well planned, but terse. So you might be very short with the way that you speak or spoke to this person. You could have been very brief. It's not personal, though. None of this stuff indicates that there's any kind of personal offense being caused or any kind of personal offense being perceived or any of that. Now, I'm not seeing that. So that's why I'm thinking that this has a lot to do with work, perhaps, because all these cards are very down to business. Like you got stuff to do. And so they perceive the way that you spoke to be considerate, but factful, they're factual, but also short and not playing around, not flowery. So what did they perceive? How did they perceive what you had to say? Well, they perceived you as the Knight of Pentacles. You had a lot of knowledge to give, a lot of knowledge to share. You just apparently shared it in very short words. I think, though, what you had to say, though, was also I think it's polite, I would say. It was polite and not like you were like barking orders at them or anything like that, or, yelling at them or anything like that. I'm not seeing that, but I'm seeing that you were very business oriented in what you had to say. This is not a date. If this was a date, you might need to give them a call back and try to explain, because this looks like this is all business maybe. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it was like a job interview or anything to do with the job, but it's like if you met this person, you may have had some official stuff to do, like pull up documents for something. Maybe this was a lawyer, or maybe this was somebody who came to do a service for you. But yeah, this looks very like a transactional interaction. But for the most part, they perceived that you had, you know, a good knowledge of whatever it is that you're talking about, and you can be trusted. I think that there's definitely an air of trustworthiness here. If you told somebody that you were going to do something, they had all assurance that you were going to do it. I don't think this person thought you were going to run away. I don't think this person thought that you were going to shortchange them or, you know, give them the runaround. This person knows you don't have time for that, just based on this appearance. Lastly, like what they gather about you from your first impression, though. 9 of Swords. Interesting, you guys. So, okay. So this person that you're asking about may be a little bit of a closet empath. Somebody who's able to read you, because this 9 of Swords is what they gather from you. So here, look at all this. This is all business, like serious. Like there's a facade here, though, because this person sees you as nervous. Let's take a look at these ones. Hermit. Seeks solitude to focus intently on inner life, serves personal creativity. The cold spot. If something feels off, it probably is. Okay. If you were trying to, group 3, if you were trying to cover something up about yourself, this person saw through it. They saw through it. And like I said, this person's a closet empath, or they could be somebody who's like just like a mentalist, where you can just kind of like look at someone's minor details and they can sort of pick up on what you're not totally aware that you're giving off. So this person's quite sensitive and intuitive. So while you came off with this very, let's get down to brass tacks sort of like vibe, they see somebody underneath who's maybe very anxious. They may see that you have all these things placed up, like all these walls and all this, you know, structure and scaffolding around you, because you know that without it, or they think that without it, you could fall apart without this structure. So I feel like, you know, while you brought off this very authoritative vibe, to feel like you were in control of the situation, I have a feeling that you were at this person's mercy in a weird way, if that makes any sense, because they sensed something was off about this. You had some kind of like facade about you. And I think that that's the same thing here, is they see a lot of outward stuff, but with the terse, maybe the terse behavior, the lack of intricate speech, this person may think that you're incredibly introverted. And, you know, this looks like a programming almost. This person may see you as somebody who's using a programming, like you're told to. Now, for some of you, I wonder if you could perhaps be on the spectrum. Are you on the autism spectrum disorder, or not disorder? Sorry, autism spectrum scale. Yeah, that's the scale. I wouldn't call it a disorder, but that's neither here nor there. But my thing is, because I'm seeing this looks like you guys are very like you have lived with a certain type of personality and mindset for so long that you know what is the standard for communication. Like, you know what people want when they come to you. You know what they mean when they say this, because my autistic friends have mentioned that there's a neurotypical language people use where they say things that they don't actually mean. You know, like for instance, you could be somebody where they come up to you and they ask, "Hey, how's your day?" Or no, how's your day is like, how are you? And the typical thing is that you say, "I'm fine." That's what the neurotypical thing would be, to just say, "I'm fine," and brush it off as just like a phrase that people say. But then, you know, if you are not in tune with that neurotypical language, typically, you can actually maybe take it more literally and, you know, think that they actually want to hear about your day. You know, like, "How's your day?" I'm going to tell them. They asked, so I'm going to be truthful and give them my information. So that's one of the things that I could be seeing here. Not everybody, and of course, I am not diagnosing anybody with anything. I just thought that, you know, because I have a lot of friends who are on the spectrum, and they will mention that, yeah, they don't totally they don't totally vibe with the kind of fluffiness of the way people speak, just casually, so I feel like that could have been something here. So maybe here we see all this structure, but in actuality, you guys could be you could be quite nervous because you're trying to kind of like follow the format. You don't want to screw the interaction up because you're trying to follow a format and you want to get things done and you don't want to cause any trouble and you just want to, get the interaction over and done with. And that's kind of what this person could have been picking up on. So you could be quite introverted and you can put on like the extroverted face or as best you can. You can kind of like, I feel like stranger in a strange land or something is the phrase that came up. So there could also be something here when I hear stranger in a strange land, you or they could have been meeting each other out of your element too. And that's another thing I could be picking up. Stranger in a strange land is the thing that just keeps coming through my head over and over and over again. So, you may have a work culture that's very specifically a certain way, and maybe theirs is very different or something. And you guys had to see eye to eye coming from completely different cultures. That's another thing. So I am just overall just seeing a total culture difference, regardless of whether you're neuro diverse or neurotypical. I'm seeing there's a cultural difference, or it could be literal culture, or it could be work culture. Either way, they did notice the divide. They did notice something different here. I don't think this person is going to hurt you though. Because I think that if they saw this vulnerability here, this lack of sureness, this slight little crack, this little Achilles heel, they could have maybe, if you were in a situation where they could have, really hurt you in some way, they chose not to. They chose to make you comfortable by perhaps making you feel like you guys are in control, because they figured that was something that you needed to feel safe. So that's what I'm getting here. So I hope I didn't offend anybody by talking about neurodiversity or anything like that. It shouldn't be offensive. I'm neurodiverse. I have ADHD, so I guess we're kind of holding hands a bit. But anyway, I thought I would just say that because I don't intend to hurt anybody's feelings or anything like that. But anyway, that's what I'm seeing, group 3. Please let me know if you like this reading. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you would like to get a private reading with me, you can find me in my Etsy shop. I have readings starting at $10, and the link to that is in my description box. So I want to thank you for watching, and I'm going to move on to group 4. Hi, group 4. So this is for those of you who have picked the stone rabbit. I wish I knew what type of stone he was. Do you guys know? Are you good with stones? I have a lot to learn still. But here I have, this is the final answer here. So I'm going to come back to this at the end of the reading just to kind of sum up everything as what the big answer is, like the grand finale. But to start, I'm going to break it down, the interaction, and see how they come to this conclusion. So let's take a look here. So how did they perceive group 4's body language, please? How did they perceive group 4's body language? Oops. Oh, crap. You know what? I don't like that. I'll take this one. How did they perceive... Oh, I'm sorry. I think I did. That's probably why I flubbed, because I said body language. I wanted to say physical appearance. How did they perceive group 4's physical appearance, please? How did group 4's person perceive their physical appearance? How did they perceive their body language in their interaction? How did they perceive their body language, please? How did they perceive the way you speak when they had their interaction with you? How did they perceive the way you speak? And then how did they perceive what you had to say? Whatever you told them, how did they perceive that? And then what do they gather about you from their first impression with you? This interaction, what did they gather in total? What's their first impression of you here? Okie dokie. So we've got the Page of Wands. We have the Devil. We have the Queen of Wands. We have the Ten of Swords, and then we have the Magician. This interaction here. What was their first impression after this interaction? Well, okay, your physical appearance looks youthful to them. It looks, it's so funny because this is like the same almost as the other readings. I've got two readings where it was the Fool in this place, and then one reading where this one is here, which is almost kind of like the Fool. Their physical appearance, though, your physical appearance looks very energized, looks youthful. They look like you look like you have places to go. So whatever the case is, you could be a walker. You could be walking when they met you. Or they could see that you take very good care of your legs and your booty and all that stuff because you like to walk and perhaps do squats, things like that. The Page is a mover. He walks from places to place. So, that you look like you have not been sitting on your bum a whole lot. Like you're still pretty active. Now you could also be somebody who looked like, now something about this one, this has to talk about the way that you dress. I would say that this looks like this could be a uniform or like a worker sort of, outfit. The Page works with his hands with this or with the Wands card. So like crafting wise, so you guys could have, a look about you that maybe you're a painter, or maybe you just came from work, you were wearing a uniform, or maybe your hands look dirty because you were performing some kind of activity that made your hands dirty from working or something. Whatever it is, there's this activity here. So I'm kind of thinking that there could be like maybe dirty hands, or you like had dirt on you, or there's something on you perhaps that, indicated that you were busy doing something. It's a very physical card though. So I don't think that this is telling me that you were like wearing lipstick and high heels. And if you were a man, and you don't dress that way, it may mean that you weren't wearing, your favorite alligator skin boots and your favorite, tie or whatever. This looks like you guys were maybe like wearing jeans and some boots or something, or, just sneakers, something like that. It's sort of casual. So what am I seeing though? How did they perceive your body language? My God, the Devil. Okay. This is probably the first one I'm seeing that seems like it might be totally like a crush or something, maybe, because these two, this is like very sexual. Both of these cards, the way that you speak and then the way that they saw your body is very sexual. You may be very sensual looking, and like, look at this one. There's a snake here as well. So there might be something about the way you move, about the way that you stand. You could be like very like flowy, like you could be wearing like some of the most rugged attire, but somehow you're still like very like sensual in the way that you use your hands, or the way that you stand, man or woman too. I've seen some guys who have like a very sensual sway in their hips when they walk. I've seen it. And they were rugged. They were rugged guys that I've seen, but they still have this, like, this is definitely like an astrological placement where they're like, they've got some kind of sensual water element, like a Scorpio vibe or something. So there's a little bit of like a sexy sway here. So if this is you might have some Scorpio here, that creates this kind of sensual sort of like flow about you. Yeah. You might actually have this a lot, you guys. I feel like you guys might be one of those people who have like Moon Mars, or you might have Mars Venus aspects, and these can make you very sexy. So, or Venus Pluto or Pluto Mars, I think maybe not Pluto Mars, but yeah, some of these other ones though, very sensual. So yeah, how they perceive your body language, sexual. Sexual. If you weren't just straight up gyrating your hips, I'd be surprised. But the way you speak though, it's also very sexy and charismatic, actually, because this is the Leo card here. So whatever you had to say, you could have been very charming, you could have made them laugh, you could have been, very like I don't know how to describe, it's sexy as well. You know, it's just a sexy voice. You could have a very good voice. Maybe it's kind of deep, maybe a little huskier than others. But there's definitely this like strong sexual vibe coming from even the way you speak. So you were hitting like all the sweet spots with this person, to be honest. Now, whatever it is you had to say though was not sexy. So if this was like business or something that was not like a date or anything, you might have come to like, you know, you could have just like sensually walked up to them and be like, hi, you're being served, you know. And you know, they're like, oh crap. It has nothing to do with with who you are, but it has everything to do with what you might have had to tell them. So you might have had to tell them, you know, something about something ending, or you had to tell them about some bad news, or you know, like somebody came up to you to tell you like, yes, we've ticketed your car or something like that. So unfortunately, the news you delivered was not great, but I don't think they're holding that against you. What did they gather from you out of the whole thing, out of the whole situation? We got the magician. Oh boy, you're clever. Oh, oh boy, you're clever, or you're smart, or you know what you're doing, or you've got the whole package here, because that's the beauty of the magician. I keep wanting to call him the mage, the magician, because he masters everything. He's the master of the wands, suit, the cups, the coins, and the swords, all of them. He's a jack of all trades, master of none, basically. But you know, you have a great knowledge and understanding of everything, and it makes you very, very well-rounded. The reason why you're master of none, though, is because maybe you're young and you still have a lot to learn or something, but you just, there's a lot about you that's hitting all the right spots for this person. I'm not going to lie. If this is not a romantic interest, it's coming through that they definitely like, so yeah, if this was like a job thing, unfortunately, you know, you may get it, but for the wrong reasons. But let's take a look up here too. We've got the martyr, learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause, addiction to self-pity. And then it says the crying ghost, this will pass. This is interesting. So this is their overall thing here. So this looks like this might have been a little bit more complex, because while this is like the, you know, the clever, you've hit all the right buttons, you've done it all, you've got everything. The news was still bad. Whatever you told them was some kind of bad news. So I don't know if they caught you on a bad day or something where you were having some kind of problem and you were telling them like, oh yeah, my cat died or something. You know, they might have caught you when you were feeling sad. So this person's first impression of you is that you're sad, perhaps, or that or that you're doing something. You may look sad too, though. Like your physical appearance could be sad looking too. Because also though with this is body language, that's not going to be that, but let me pull one more card. Like, why is this ghost here? Why is this ghost here for the crying ghost for group 4? Oh, 6 of swords. Okay. So this could be in a situation where you met somebody and then maybe they needed to feel better. Maybe they were not doing well. Or I'm sorry, you met them and you weren't doing well. And so this person may have thought that you were the crying ghost here, and that maybe something happened and you needed their help. Perhaps you needed to feel better. Now, something about this, though, is this martyr card is learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause. I wonder if maybe they thought that maybe you weren't taking care of yourself very well. Learning the transcendent service to oneself or a cause. You know, it's possible that they felt like you weren't taking care of yourself very well, and maybe there was some kind of problem and you needed to see them for some reason. But they see that you're kind of maybe trying to feel better in this situation, this scenario. So the news that you gave them might have been upsetting for you just as much as it was upsetting for them for some reason. Or you know, and it doesn't even have to be their bad luck or their betrayal or anything like that for it to be upsetting to them. They might just be an incredibly empathetic person. So, you know, if you go up to them and tell them something that really upsets you, they might really instantly agree with you or instantly empathize. So that's what I'm seeing with this. But yeah. Well, you definitely have this person's attention. What their first impression is that you're very sexy, very attractive, and you might have a lot of problems that you got to deal with. and who knows if this is a romantic thing, they may want to help you with that. But, or maybe it's their job. They want to help you with that. So, but anyway, that's your reading group 4. I want to thank you for watching. If you want a private reading with me, you can catch me down in the description box. My Etsy shop is there. You can get readings with me that start at $10. And then for those of you that like my content, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And definitely subscribe. I am so close. I'm like 10 subscribers away from 8,000 subs. So if you could, like, you know, click the sub button and get me there, I would totally be appreciative of that. I would love it. It would make my year, because I've been waiting for that for a while. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye now.